What if your Minecraft XP could be spent like money, or even used like mana points?
I need more money.
In this video, I will show you multiple ways you can use XP to completely change Minecraft. The first method is to create self-service vending machines, or an NPC that can provide items or possibly even effects. So here we have a vending machine that'll let you trade one level for an enchanted golden apple. So if I come up here and I press this button, it takes one level away from me and it gives me the enchanted apple. This one here, also for one level, will fix all of my health and hunger. So let me effects at S instant damage. 1 true. Bam. So now I've hurt myself here, I've got a little hunger, and I've got some hearts that are missing. So I could use this to trade a single level. And you'll see that it filled up my saturation and my hearts completely, and I still have a little regeneration going on here. For the NPC, you can set it up so that you can talk to them. And if I were to click on this right here, it would take one of my levels, and now I have speed 3 after it shocked me with electricity. So let's take a look at how these are working. So we'll go ahead and hop inside here, and the first one we're going to look at is the one that gives you the enchanted golden apple. So right on the other side of this button, I have an impulse command block here. No delay. I'm going to execute positioned -2 tilde. So that -2 puts the position 2 blocks this way. So the position is going to be right here, right near where the player is going to be that's pushing the button. As at P, which means closest player, R equals 2, LM equals 1. LM means level minimum, so you have to have at least one level for this to work, and it's going to run XP minus 1 capital L, not lowercase l, capital L, and then at S. So what we're doing here is it's going to make the person who has enough experience who's pressing the button, they're going to be the ones running the command, and then they themselves are going to lose one level. So you can't use the XP commands to give you negative experience. So if I do XP -200 at S, it's going to say you can't give a player negative experience points. However, you can give negative levels. So if I do 1 and I do a big L there, what's going to happen here is it took one level away from me. So when that runs, I have this hooked up to it. This is chain conditional. So this will only run when the first one does. So you have to have enough experience, and it's going to take your experience away, and then this will run. We're going to do that same execute positioned so that it's at the position over there by where the player is pushing the button as the closest player within range, and we're going to give them enchanted golden apple 1. Now the setup over here is pretty much very similar. All right, we're going to do the execute positions again just to make sure we're at the right spot. We're looking for a player within a couple blocks that has a level that's at least level 1. We're going to take that one level from them. The only difference here with this chain is instead of doing a give command, I'm going to run a couple effect commands. These are conditional, of course. We're doing positions. Want to make sure we're accurately hitting that player. We're going to run effects for the closest player in range. We're going to give them regeneration. And then in this one, pretty much the exact same thing, we'll do saturation. So that's only a few command blocks to create a self-service vending machine where you can spend your experience points like currency. Similarly over here, we have the NPC, and I have the dialogue want to get a little zippy, and it says get shocked on the button. So if we look at the command here, what I'm doing is I'm going to execute at the closest player that also has at least one level, and I'm going to tag them, and I'm going to give them the tag speed. So now I've got this chain running. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger, but it's actually pretty cool. So we're going to do repeat, always active, and I'm going to execute at the player who's got the tag speed, who has at least one level, and I'm going to take one level away from them. And then hooked up to that, conditionally, I'm going to give them the speed effect. So effect at A, tag equals speed. And I'm going to give them speed 3 for, that's, 3 minutes, I believe it is. Chain unconditional, always active, so this is going to happen no matter what. We're then going to remove the speed tag. And then conditional to that, I'll do basically executing at the specific position where the NPC is. That's where this set of coordinates is. We're going to run play sound. I'm going to play respawn anchor depletes at any player that's nearby there. I'm trying to make it louder, but this doesn't seem to actually work beyond 1. So the sound effect is pretty much as loud as it's going to be using a 1. It doesn't have to be any bigger. And then I've got chain conditional. This one here, we're going to execute right at the NPC's position. And then we're going to do camera shake for any players within a few blocks of there. And then conditional, always active. Again, executing at the NPC's position, but we're going to run effect. Any player within range is going to get blindness for a couple seconds. And that creates that really cool effect so that when I have him shock me, everything kind of goes white. You get that cool sound effect, and now I have speed. So as you can see, doing like an NPC or a self-service vending machine are both fairly easy to set up. What we're doing is we're checking to make sure they have the XP needed, and then we're going to remove that XP, and then we're going to operate conditionally. So we have to remove the XP for the rest of the effects to run, right? The other option, you'll notice I have a guest tier down here, is to give players abilities and to use the experience like mana. So let me first hop into survival mode. And I'm going to, let's take away 30 Ls. So now I'm only level 2. There's a couple things I can do. One, I can create a small system that gives me experience like your mana would naturally refilling. So if I flip this on to turn it on, you'll see that I'm slowly starting to get experience back. In the beginning, it's quite fast, but as we go on here and we raise up in levels, it's going to slow down. Now I have this maxed out so that you can't go any higher than level 30. Just for this video, you can do it however you want. Getting a little hungry. And now I have these levels, right? So let me climb up here. I'm kind of away from the command blocks before I do this. I've learned my lesson. I did a Super Saiyan 4 Goku build recently, and I had the unfortunate surprise of blowing up half the command blocks, so I try to stay away from them now. But this ability I've created, and it can be any ability you want, I made a simple little black hole ability. So I'm going to cast this, and it's going to create a little black hole, and it's going to rise up into the sky for a few seconds, and then it's going to drop everything down. It doesn't do any damage or anything like that, but if you're in a tight situation with like mobs attacking you, or if you want to quickly mine an area or clear an area, it's pretty useful there. But you see that when I cast it, it takes a level away. All right, so the first thing let's look at here is the system that gives you experience points like a mana refill. So I have repeating, needs redstone because I have a lever on there. You can have this always active. It's really up to you. And all I'm doing is executing as at A, so any player, L equals 29. So any player that is level 29 or lower, because that L means max level, it's going to run XP 1 at S, so it's going to give 1 experience per game tick. You can slow this down by adding a delay in ticks here. So like if I were to add a 3 here, it would now be 1/3 of the speed at which I was getting the experience before. But as I mentioned, once you get to higher levels, that rate that I had, it really slows down. And so 1 might be a good option, you know, for that. And you might want to do a delay. It's really up to you and what kind of system you're trying to create. But I keep it from getting any higher than 30 with this one. Chain unconditional, always active, and I'm going to execute as any player that has a level of at least 31, and I'm going to run experience -1 L at S. So if you're higher level, and I turn this on, so let me first go to survival mode here, and let me turn this off. So I'm level 30. Let me XP 30 L at S. So I just gave myself 30 levels. Oh, speaking of which, if you like the auras here, I recently did a video on Dragon Ball Z auras. I also included this aura in the level progression video that I did recently, so you can check those out if you're interested in getting some auras like this for your characters. Anyway, if I turn this on, I now start losing those levels rapidly until I get to level 30, and that's where it's going to stay. Only then, if I spend experience will then start refilling that back up for me. And once I get to level 30, it'll stop. You can use this to control the flow of experience for you, so that players aren't, getting experience too rapidly, using experience farms, things like that. Or you can more extremely just kill all experience orbs and manually give XP. That way, it's only given at the rate that you want. Let's take a look at how the ability works and how it costs you experience. So starting off, I have repeating always active. I'm doing replace item entity at A LM equals 30. So you technically won't even get the gas tier until you are 30. Now you can change this. So if you want them to get the ability once they pass level 20, just put a 20 there. But doing this will allow you to control what level they get access to those abilities naturally. Slot.hotbar8. I do that so often when reading these. Slot.hotbar8 is the last spot on your inventory keep, so it only replaces it if the spot is empty, and then I'm doing gas tier 1. So that gives you the gas tier, but it doesn't take any experience away. This one here, repeating always active, I'm doing execute at E name equals gas tier, so it's going to execute at the gas tier. If an entity, any player that has at least one experience level is within 2 blocks, detecting if you're actually trying to use the gas tier, what we're going to do is then we're going to execute as you, and we're going to run XP minus 1L at S. So this will take that level away from you. And then conditional to that, chain conditional always active, execute at E name equals gas tier, if entity at A LM equals 1 or equals 2, and then as them, run tag at S at ability. So if it takes the level from you, it's going to then give you a tag. The tag is ability. And then unconditional, what we're going to do is we're going to execute at your position because you have that tag, and we're going to kill that gas tier. And then, repeating always active, we're going to use the ability tag, and I use RM equals 20 to make sure that this doesn't work if we're too near the command blocks. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a little traumatized by blowing up half my build and then having to redo it all very recently, so you're going to see these pretty often as I try to make sure that that's not possible. So we're going to execute at the player with the tag ability, as long as they're not near these command blocks. And unless there's an entity named Black Hole, we're going to summon an armor stand named Black Hole. And we're going to do it caret 1, caret 5, which is about 5 blocks out in front of you. And then unconditional, we're going to run effect on that armor stand, and we're going to make it invisible. And then unconditional again, we're going to execute at the armor stands named Black Hole, and we're going to run teleport. Any entity that's not tagged ability, that's not named Black Hole within 20 blocks, is going to get sucked up into the position. And then unconditional here, I'm running fill again at the armor stands named Black Hole. But what this does is it's going to create like a 5x5 area around the armor stand where it's going to destroy all the blocks. And so you'll see when I first use it, all those blocks get destroyed nearby and get sucked up into it. That's what's breaking the blocks. And then the rest of this is kind of flavor. So unconditional, I'm doing the levitation effects. This raises the armor stand up. Otherwise, it's going to fall down and make a tunnel that digs deep into the ground. I don't want that. On this one here, we're doing conditional. I'm going to run at the armor stand's name. I'm going to run particle, and I'm doing Minecraft end chest. This one is tilde 2.5 tilde. Since my armor stand is raising up, I actually want the effect to happen a little bit above it so that it kind of accommodates for the movement and makes it look like the particles are closer to where the actual black hole is. And then this one here, same exact thing, except for I'm doing 2. I'm actually thinking about increasing this to 3 to really lift those particles up a little bit higher. Now, the only thing I have left is killing the armor stand and kind of clearing the ability. So I'm just doing that with a repeating always active command block. I'm just testing for that armor stand named Black Hole. And then what I'm doing is I'm going to power this command block here, and I've got an 80 tick delay. So, and it's not running on the first tick. So this is going to take approximately 4 seconds before it does tag at A, tag equals ability, remove ability. So it's going to remove your tag. And then conditional to that, we're going to do kill at E name equals Black Hole. So that clears up the ability. As I mentioned earlier, I created a progression system that makes you stronger as you get more experience. If that sounds pretty cool to you, go ahead and click that video right here, and I'll show you how to actually make it in Minecraft so that the XP system has real value. Alright, this is BrownCode67. I'll catch you next time.